Hello, everyone. It's Michael, and today I'm going to be doing your Smart Suite Library Administrator training. Now, we've covered a lot of topics almost every week. That's pretty much for new users, but today we're going to be focusing on four items that are important for all administrators, and that is number one is setting the authority files. Okay. Number two is checking your SKIS username and password if they work. Okay. And how to know whether you've got it right or not. Number three is setting up spine labels so that when you SKIS catalog, so you can do a lot of cataloging records, or you can even run bulk reports for spine labels. So let's say you're going to cover all your books or your spine labels are damaged and you've done a shelf check, and so you now need to reprint your spine labels. So I'm going to show you how to set them up to make sure they're working. And then last of all, we're going to touch on SKIS cataloging. So thank you for this opportunity to present this particular facility for you. Okay. Now, the way we're going to work is you need to be logged in and you need to be having administrator rights. So you can see I'm signed in. And when I click here, if I don't have as a very least catalog, and then when catalog global cataloging, you're not going to be able to participate in this. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to take them on the fly. And if you want to raise a question on the top right hand side of your screen, you will be able to type in your questions and chat. I'm watching it, and any questions that come up, I'm happy to address it. Okay. So the very first thing that we're going to be dealing with this particular system is authority files. And where do I go to set authority files? What are we talking about authority files? So let me just give you an example of authority files under the patron system as an example. So if I go down to menu and I go to patron and I go to patron management, okay, on the patron management screen, what you're going to be able to see is that when you click in a field, okay, you can put data in there. Click in that field, data. Click in that field, data. Click in that field, data. But when I go to class grade and I click in the field, it's a list. And what we're saying is that that list is an authority file. Okay, so when I go to class grade authority file, click on homeroom authority file, click on roles authority file. So where do I go to find these authority files? So that's in the patron record. Let's have a look at the catalog record. The catalog record is full of authority entries. There's lots of it everywhere. Okay, so if I go into subject, okay, click on that, it's a list, it's an authority file. Go to genre, click on that, it's a list. Click on illustrator, click on that, it's a list, and so forth and so on. If I go to the copies area and I go to copy status, there's a list. If I go to the location, there's a list. If I go to loan type, it's a list. Now what you can do is, if I've got a new location and the location's called Mike's desk, okay, and it says no results found, then it'll give you a pop-up. It says Mike's desk is a new location. Are you sure you want to add this to the list? So you can add an authority file most of the time on the fly wherever you are. Okay, so you can add authority files on the fly. However, the best place to go to put in authority entries or to check a list of authority entries is number one, you go to the menu, okay? Then you want to come down to the configuration button. And just because there's only three entries, don't assume that's all there is. If you scroll the screen up, you'll find a whole bunch of other authority entries, but the one I'm interested in is authority editor. And that's where all the authority files are. So when you click on that, it'll by default bring up audience always every time, only because it's alphabetic. So when you click on that, there you go. That's a list. So I'm going to catalog a new media type. I'm going to catalog material, and it has a new media type, and the media type is called senior fiction for year 12. So you can come down to media, okay, and you can go, oh, these are all my media types. Okay, don't forget to scroll. Don't presume just because you have that many that's all there is. If you see a scroll bar, just scroll the mouse, okay, and you can see you don't have senior fiction year 12. So what you go in, you go here, senior. Now I'm a stickler for not abbreviating, because if someone comes along, they go, what's SNR FIC? So you're better off to put in the whole word senior fiction. As you can see, you've got huge entries, names in here. Okay. Now, if that's all you want, you just click the plus, and guess what? You've now got senior fiction year 12 in the authority entry. And that's how you add authority files on the fly. Okay. If you don't want an authority file, you can click the minus sign and you have a delete button. You can go delete. It says, are you sure? You go, okay. And now that's deleted. Obviously, if there are books or material that are attached to a particular authority entry and you click that and you try and then delete it, you will not be able to delete it because it'll say that there are records attached to it. So what you can do is you can create a global change and say move anything that had a smart lessons, move it to this new authority entry. So you can do that. Okay, there's other ways to deal with it, but that's not the point of the training for today. So the first thing we do is we need to set up the authority files to be able to SKIS catalog. Okay, what's the next thing we need to do? We need to set two parameters, very, very important parameters. The first parameter is you need to tell the system what your SKIS username and password is. So how do you do that? So again, menu, you go down to catalog and global catalog, okay? Because that's where all your cataloging is done, okay? I've got a question over here. It says, I've got two um, SKIS usernames and passwords. Which one should I use? Okay, now, depending on who sent you that letter, they might have called it a SKIS username. They might call it a Z3950 database username. So which one do you use? Well, let's not get into what it's called. Let's go and use one username and check if that works. If that doesn't work, then obviously it's the other one. So then you try the second username and see if that will work. Okay, so you go into global catalog and the global catalog menu will come up. So the first thing you need to do is on the bottom right hand side, you've got configuration. Don't click on that configuration button. We don't want that. We want that little up arrow next to it because that's where it's going to present all the different options. So you click on that, and the one that you're interested for SKIS is Z39.50. And if you say, why is it not called SKIS? Well, it's like saying, I'm going to buy a car. And instead of having just the definition of a car, you can say, I'm going to buy a Ford, I'm going to buy a Mercedes, I'm going to buy a BMW. Okay, so basically the correct name is Z3950 database. It's like saying BMW or it's like saying Ford. Okay, so we don't call it SKIS. Now the reason for that is because when you go into Z3950 databases, one of the data, it's like saying car, and this one of the databases is SKIS, another one State Library of Victoria, another one Library of Congress, and you can add as many other Z3950 databases, but for your case, you're only interested in SKIS. So you need to have the word SKIS up there, you need to have the port 2120 there, you need to then have your SKIS username. Now that's my SKIS username, but I'm going to change it, okay? So let's say that that is the username that I have. Okay, I'll put it in there. Then you need to have z3950.skisdata.com. The database has to be Voyager, and SKIS would have given you a password to go with that username. So you need to put that in there, and then you need to make a tick in there to say that it is the default one and make it a priority one. Okay, and then go save or update. Now, once you've done that, I'm going to go update. Okay, it said the database is updated. You cannot just close out and start cataloging, because when this program loaded, it took on all those parameters. But because I've changed the parameters, you have to go and click menu, you have to go catalog, and you have to reload that program with the new parameters you've now got on there. So just go global catalog, and now the new parameters will go there, and you can test it by putting in your ISBN number of the book. Now I don't have one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to catalog, okay, and I'm going to find an ISBN number. So let's go to the very first catalog record, 100 people who made history, and let me copy that. Okay, so now that I've copied that, now let's go back into the skis, and I'll zap it in with the barcode. Okay, I zap it in, and then I put in my barcode for the book. Okay, and it will go ahead, and if providing everything's correct, it's going to bring down that record, give you a green line, and tell you it's cataloged. Okay, now it's done that only because I did not save my parameters before. But if, oh, my username, oh, it's gone to State Library of Congress. So it didn't find in SCIS, it went to State Library of Congress and got it. That's where it got it. So basically, in my system, I can bring records down from SCIS. Then that's my number one. And then my number two is I can go to Library of Congress and bring that record down. Then I can go to State Library of Victoria and bring that record down. But it would have skipped SCIS because that's my username, okay, which is wrong. So I was hoping that I'll get you an error message on there that will be something like, let me just show you. Okay, so let's say this is a correct SCIS number, and that's my barcode of the book. If your username is wrong in SCIS and you don't have any of those others, you will get a no items found. Okay, and if you get a no items found and check another book, and they're all telling you no items found, there's every possibility your SCIS username is wrong. So all you need to do is you need to come in here, click on Z3950 databases, and you need to put the correct one. Make sure port is 210, make sure it's called SCIS, make sure that's the URL address for SCIS, make sure the database is called Voyager, make sure you got the correct barcode, make sure you got to put a tick to say this is the default one, make sure the priority is one, and then just go update. And when you do that, then go back and check it. And if you got two usernames and passwords from SCIS and neither of them are giving you a green, they're giving you that, try a number of books, because it's every possibility that that book may not exist on SCIS. Okay, so you're a good idea to try 2 or 3 books, and try an old one, try a new one, try a moderately new one as well. And then if that doesn't work, talk to us so we can then go and check it for you. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Now, when you are cataloging, so I've cataloged the book, wouldn't it be nice if you've cataloged 30 books or 20 books or 60 books or even 5 books? All you need to do is just go print, and it will automatically print out the spine labels for you. Okay, and if you go, yeah, but I'm reusing a sheet of spine labels, say, all right, leave 23 blanks and then generate, and it'll start printing on the 24th spine label. Wouldn't it be fantastic if it did that? You didn't have to worry about it, and the spine labels always print 100% of the time, every time. Okay, now the trick to that is, if you want the spine labels to print every time 100% of the time, click on the up arrow, go into default spine label, and in here you'll see that all the spine labels we have formatted for different schools around Australia, and if you choose any one of them, they will always work. Okay, if it's not there, you can go ahead and create your own spine label, and good luck. It's take you a little while, might take you a day, might take you a week, might take you 2 weeks to line it up correctly and make sure it's the right character gap and make sure it's the right line from the top and all that sort of. But once it's done and you know it works, you can then go, it'll appear on, when give it a name in the reports menu, and it will appear here, and you will be able to then choose one from there. But 12603 is pretty much industry standard library Spine label can be bought from any library vendor. Okay. And the good thing is you will never, ever, ever have to change your formatting there. Okay. So that's what it'll do. Now, I have had some people that say to me, when I go and zap in my um, ISBN number, what is appearing up here, or when I zap in my barcode, what's appearing up here is not the same as my barcode and not the same as my spine label. That is a possibility. And you can say, the program's useless. No, 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 no. It's got nothing to do with the program. So what you need to do, you need to go and you need to open Word, okay? Or WordPad, okay? Or Notepad, anything. And in here, zap in your ISBN number, okay? And that's what you're going to see is the ISBN number. And if that number you've zapped in is not on that label of the book, it's not the ISBN number on the book, that means your barcode reader is not reading correctly. Okay. And then as a double check, zap in the barcode of the book, whatever barcodes you're using. And that needs to be exactly the same. What you need to understand is that using a barcode reader with any computer is like just going out and buying a keyboard and plugging it in. So whatever you type in is got to be the same as what's being displayed. If it's not, either the keyboard's wrong or your barcode reader's wrong. Now, 99% of the time, if it's wrong, okay, generally it always works straight out of the box. But 99% of the time, when it does not work straight out of the box, it's only because you've got a little instruction that came with that barcode reader you bought, and you need to open it up and get IT and say to IT, here's my book, and can you please read this barcode reader in Word and read the ISBN number in Word and see how it's different? Can you please program it? Here's the book. I don't know how to do it, and get IT to fix it for you. We can't help you. Where we can help you and where it becomes our responsibility is when you open up Word and you zap in a barcode and it reads exactly the same here. You wrap in an ISBN number and it reads exactly the same in here. Only then is it our problem. Okay, so that's what you need to do. Okay, so it's really easy to set that up and to start cataloging your books. So I've gone through authority files, I've gone through spine labels, I've gone through SKIS cataloging. Okay. Now, someone has just said, what barcodes, let me read it. What barcodes can we use for student records? Do I have to go out and buy barcodes for students? The straight answer is no, you don't. So, what barcodes do the students use? So, let's go back in here. Let's go into patron. Let's go into patron management. Okay. And I'll leave the screen. And let's have a look at what the patron record is. So we're going to look for a patron. So let's go to the next patron on here. And Jane's up. No, we're not going to use Jane's up. We'll use Michael Fernandez. So here's Michael Fernandez. What barcode will we give him? Well, you can give him a random barcode. Okay. Or you can give him his admin number as his barcode. That is more common. Okay, so you can type in any text in here, any number in here, any alphanumeric number in there. We really don't care. And when the system goes to reports, it can print out on a little label whatever you've typed in there as a barcode. So it really doesn't matter what number you give them. Okay, however, my recommendation is, if you have to give him an identifier, which you do, instead of going out and spending all this money of buying all these pre-printed barcodes, just use the school's admin number. And his admin number might be MF0123. That's his number. So that's his barcode. Okay. Well, what about if he's got loans? What about if he's got borrowing history? What about, couldn't care less. You don't have to worry about that. You can change this barcode field anytime from anything to anything, and all the loans will be preserved, all the borrowing history will be preserved, all the history of this person's dealings with you will be preserved. So you can change it as often as you like, whenever you like. So if you're doing a patron import, just import the admin number, the school's admin number as his barcode. Okay. Well, how do I print it? Well, that's easy. You just go to menu and reports and reports. Now, when you go to reports, you can go to patron reports and patrons by classification or patrons by homeroom or patron by classification with barcodes. So you just go in here, okay, and I want all my year 11s, okay, and I want my year 12s, and just go generate. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a report of every patron in the system with all their barcodes alongside it. And if it's not the layout you want, you can tell us about it and we can change the layout, okay, to whatever format you want. But the barcode will automatically be interpreted according to the text that's in that field, okay? And we can make it any layout you want. Thank you very much for this opportunity to help you with setting up authority files as a library administrator and changing authority files as a library administrator so that you can catalog. Thank you for for allowing us to show you how to set up your SKIS username and password, how to set up your spine labels, how to catalog, and how to use any identifier as your barcode for patron records. For book records, my recommendation is go and buy pre-printed barcodes. Can we print barcodes? Absolutely, for the books. Not a good idea because when you print it, you'll print it on inkjet printers and some laser printers, and they will run as kids put their sticky fingers or what have you on it. So it might cost you $50, $60 to get about, I don't know, a few hundred barcodes or 1,000 barcodes or whatever. And if you get them commercially, what will happen is you will find that any good barcode reader will not only read it, okay, but they will not rub off because they've been baked on by the people that printed professional barcodes. There's a company in Queensland called All Barcodes Australia. We don't promote any particular company, but this particular company, and be careful, other people have hijacked their website, poor folk, okay, and they've made it look like they are All Barcodes Australia, one word, All Barcodes Australia. So I know for a fact that they've been doing it for over 25 years that I know of, and their barcodes just work and their help is second to none. So go to a company like them and just buy barcodes off them. Well, do I buy it in a roll? Do I buy it in a sheet? Up to you, and whatever format it really doesn't matter because once you stick it on, you cover it, then it's protected and off you go. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present this training for you.